Welcome to Ansika IAS Academy, and this is the series of Tamil Nadu Board History second year. And this is chapter number 19, Constitutional Development 1858 to 1947. Learning objectives of this chapter are mainly 5 topics. The history of constitutional development from 1858 से 1935, the improvement, the importance of the Council Act of 1861 and 1892, the main provisions of the Minto Mole reforms 1919, the silent features of the Act of 1919, the significance of the Government of India Act 1935. The history of the constitutional development in India begins from the passing of the Regulating Act in 1773, the Pitt's India Act of 1784, and the successive charter acts from 1783, 1793 and 1853 from part of constitutional changes under the East India Company's rule. The revolt of 1857 brought about important changes in the British administration in India. The rule of the East India Company came to an end. The administration of India came under the direct control of the British Crown. These changes were announced in the Government of India Act of 1858. The proclamation of Queen Victoria assured the Indians a benevolent administration. Thereafter, important development had taken place in the constitutional history of India. As a result of Indian national movement, Government of India Act 1858. The Government of India Act of 1858 was passed by the Parliament of England and received royal assent in 2nd August 1858. Following are main provisions of the Act. East India Company's rule came to an end, and the Indian administration came under the direct control of the Crown. The English, the Court of Directors. In England, the Court of Directors and Board of Control was. In England, the Court of Directors and Board of Control were abolished. In their place came the Secretary of State for India and India Council were established. The Secretary of State would be a member of the British Cabinet. Sir Charles Wood was made the first Secretary of State for India. India Council, consisting of 15 members, would assist him. The Governor General of India was also made the Viceroy of India. The first Viceroy of India was Lord Canning. All the previous treaties was accepted and honoured by the Act. Queen Victoria's proclamation. Sorry, I can't pronunciate these long meanings, but I will try. Okay, Queen Victoria's proclamation. On 8 November 1858, the proclamation of Queen Victoria was announced by Lord Canning at Allahabad. This royal proclamation was translated into Indian languages and publicly read in many important places. In it announced the end of company's rule in India and the Queen's assumptions of the Government of India. It endorsed the treaty made by the company with the Indian princes and promised to respect their rights, dignity and honour. It assured the Indian people equal and impartial protection of land, freedom of religion and social practices. The proclamation of Queen Victoria gave a practical shape to the Act of 1858, Indian Councils Act of 1861. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 increased the number of members in the Governor General's Executive Council from 4 to 5. Further, the Governor General's Executive Council was enlarged into a council. Indian Council Act of 1861. The Indian Council Act of 1861 increased the number of members in the Governor General's Executive Council from 4 to 5. Further, the Governor General's Executive Council was enlarged into a Central Legislative Council 6 to 12. Additional members were to be nominated by the Governor General. Not less than half of these members were to be non-officials. Thus, a provision was made for the inclusion of Indians in the Legislative Council. The functions of these members were strictly limited to the making legislation, and they were forbidden from interfering in the matters of the Executive Council. They did not possess powers of administration and finance. Legislative councils were also established in the provinces. The number of additional members in the provinces was fixed between 4 to 8. So this act was an important constitutional development, and the people of India came to be involved in the lawmaking processes. The mechanism of Indian legislation developed slowly and reinforced further by the Acts of 1892 and 1901, Indian Council Act of 1892. The Indian Council Act of 1892 was the first achievement of the Indian National Congress. It had increased the number of additional members in the Central Legislative Council. They were to be not less than 10 and not more than 60. It had also increased the proportion of non-officials, 6 officials and 10 non-officials. The members were allowed to discuss the budget and criticize the financial policy of the government in the province. Also, the number of additional members was increased with additional powers. Marley Minto reforms in 1909. The Indian Council Act of 1909 was known as Marley Minto reforms in the names of Lord Morley, the Secretary of State for India, and Lord Minto, the Governor General of India. Both were responsible for the passing of this act. It was passed to win the support of the moderates in the Congress. The important provisions of this act were: the number of additional members of the Central Legislative Council was increased in a maximum of 60. Elected members were to be 27, and among the remaining 33 nominated members, not more than 28 were to be officials. The principle of election to the councils was legally recognized, but communal representation was for the first time introduced in the interests of Muslims. Separate electorates were provided for the Muslims. The number of members in provincial legislative council of major provinces was raised to 50. The councils were given right to discuss and pass resolutions on the budget and on all matters of public interest. However, the Governor General had the power to disallow discussions on the budget. The Indian member was appointed for the first time to the Governor General's Executive Council. Sir S.P. Sinha was the first Indian to be appointed. Thus, in Bombay and Madras, the number of members of the Executive Council was raised from 2 to 4. The practice of appointing Indians to these councils began. Two Indians were also appointed to the India Council in England. The Marley Minto reforms never desired to set up a parliamentary form of government in India. However, the moderates welcomed the reforms as fairly liberal measures. The principle of separate electorates had ultimately led to the partition of India in 1947. Montagu Chelmsford reforms of 1919. The political developments in India during the First World War, such as the Home Rule movement, led to the August Declaration on 20th August 1917. Montagu, the Secretary of State for India, made a monumentous declaration in the House of Commons. His declaration assured the introduction of responsible government in India in different stages. As a first measure, the Government of India Act of 1919 was passed by the Parliament of England. This act is popularly known as Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. At that time, Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. The main features of the act were: there are mainly four features of the 1919 Act. 1919 के एक्ट के चार main features हैं. First, diarchy was introduced in the provinces. Provincial subjects were divided into reserved subjects such as police, jails, land revenue, irrigation, forest, and transferred subjects such as education, local self-government, public health, sanitation, agriculture, and industries. The reserved subjects were to be administered by the governor and his executive council, the transferred subjects by the governor and his ministers. A bicameral two-chambers legislature was set up at the centre. It consists of the Council of States and the Legislative Assembly. The total member of the Legislative Assembly was to be maximum of 145, out of which 105 were to be elected and the remaining nominated. In the Council of States, there would be a maximum of 60 members, out of which 34 were elected and the remaining nominated. Third, the salaries of Secretary of State for India and his assistants were to be paid out of the British revenues. So far, they were paid out of the Indian revenues. Fourth, the High Commissioner for India in London was appointed. The most important defeat in this act was the division of power under the system of diarchy in the province. The Government of India Act 1935. The Government of India Act 1935 was passed on the basis of report of the Simon Commission. The outcome of the Round Table Conference was a white paper issued by the British government in 1933. This act contained many important changes over the previous act of 1919. Following were the silent features of this act. 1935 के mainly seven main features are. These are below. We will cover in this chapter. Yeah. First, provisions for the establishment of an All India Federation at the center consisting of the provinces of British India and the princely states. It did not come into existence since the princely states refused to give their consent for the union. Division of power into three lists: federal, provincial and concurrent. Introduction of diarchy at the center. The Governor General and his councillors administered the reserved subjects. The Council of Ministers were responsible for the transferred subjects. 4. The abolition of diarchy and the reduction of provincial autonomy in the provinces. The governor was made the head of the provincial executive, but he was expected to run the administration on the advice of Council of Ministers. Thus, provincial government was entrusted to the elected ministers. They were responsible to the popularly elected legislative assemblies. Provincial legislature in Bengal, Madras, Bombay, United Province, Bihar and Assam were made bicameral. Extension of the principle of separate electorates to Sikhs, Europeans, Indian Christians and Anglo-Indians. Establishment of federal court at Delhi with the Chief Justice and 6 judges. The working of the provincial autonomy was not successful. The governors were not bound to accept the advice of the ministers. In reality, the real power in the provincial government was with the governor, but despite these drawbacks in the scheme, the Congress decided to take part in the elections to the provincial legislature with the consideration that it was an improvement over the previous acts. In accordance with the provisions of the Government of India Act of 1935, elections to the provincial legislatures were held in February 1937. The Congress had virtually swept the polls. On 7 July 1937, after the Viceroy Lord Linlithgow assured the Congress of his cooperation, the party formed its ministers in 7 provinces. The party formed its ministries in 7 provinces. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डेवलपमेंट्स 1750 से 1773 द रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट, 1784 द बिट्स इंडिया एक्ट, 1793 द चार्टर्ड एक्ट, 1800 से 1850 1813 द चार्टर्ड एक्ट, 1833 द चार्टर्ड एक्ट, 1850 से 1900 1853 द चार्टर एक्ट, 1858 द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट, 1861 द इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट, 1892 द इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट, 1900 से 1950 1909 द इंडियन काउंसिल्स एक्ट मिंटो मोले रिफॉर्म्स, 1919 द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट मॉन्टफोर्ड रिफॉर्म्स, 1935 गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट. लर्निंग आउटकम्स ऑफ दिस चैप्टर आर पहला द चेंजेस affected under the Act of 1858 and the importance of Queen's Proclamation. The expansion of central and provincial legislature by the Acts of 1861 and 92. The introduction of the principle of election and also separate electorates to the Muslims by the Act of 1909. The introduction of diarchy in the provinces and the division of subjects into reserved and transferred by the Act of 1919. The provincial autonomy was introduced by the Act of 1935 but with limited power to Indian ministers. Thanks for watching. Chapter is completed.